Today we're talking about the 7artisans 55mm f1.4. So let's do this. What's up, YouTube? I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are safe. Today we are talking about the 7artisans 55mm f1.4. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually wasn't supposed to talk about this lens today. I had a couple really good shoots with this lens, and so I felt the need to just bring it to you and tell you about this lens and how much I really enjoy this lens. I was sent this lens from 7artisans. They didn't pay me to talk about this lens. They also didn't ask that I say anything specifically about this lens, and so I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And I'm going to break that opinion down into three categories. First, I'm going to talk about image quality, I'm going to talk about build quality, and I'm going to talk about my overall thoughts / value of this lens. Let's get into it with image quality. Now, this is a 55mm crop sensor lens, and so it is roughly an 85mm equivalent. One thing I really enjoy about the image quality is the overall isolation, because with that 55mm you do get some good lens compression and good isolation of your subject. Something else to mention is that f1.4 that really helps with low light. One of the things that I shot that got me really excited about talking about this lens was there was a lightning storm or a thunderstorm that came through. And so I just took a couple of shots with this lens outside where there was a very little light with my GH5. We all know the GH5 is not a low light beast. And so having something with f1.4 to capture some decent images in low light is really helpful. But also it helps create good separation between your background and your subject, as always, creating something a little bit more cinematic. So the overall image quality I really enjoyed. I felt like the bokeh was a little bit rough on the edges, but other than that, I felt like it had a really good image to it, good center sharpness, good overall contrast with the colors, good color reproduction. So that being said, this lens produces a really good image, one that I've been really pleased with. So then let's talk about build quality. First thing to mention, this is a fully manual lens. And so if you're not in the market for a fully manual lens or that intimidates you in any way, you don't necessarily want to pick this up. You are going to be responsible for the focusing and the aperture for this lens. Their aperture ring is declicked and both rings are very smooth. Now, there was something that I noticed last night when I was just kind of playing around with it. There's a point where the focus ring, and I don't know if I can reproduce it, but the focus ring, if I go too fast, it kind of loses that tension. I'm going to chalk that up to just being like this model. So something I would do if you are interested in this lens is as soon as you get it, test the focus ring. If it does that, maybe you return it, exchange it. Just be aware that that may be an issue. The other thing I appreciate, it's a small thing, but clear markers for the aperture and the focus. I feel like this is something that some of these budget lenses have just like bombed in the last few reviews, is no clear markers. So this one has very clear markers on where the aperture sits and where the focusing sits. The other thing I appreciate is just the size of this lens. Putting this on my GH5 makes the camera and lens just a really compact system, but not too compact. Not necessarily as small as the 25mm I reviewed last week, just it has that good size to it. Obviously with build quality, we should probably actually talk about the build itself rather than how it's designed. And so with the build, this is a fully metal lens, even down to the mount, which I appreciate because a lot of times with budget lenses like this, you may get a lot of plastic in the lens. So having this be fully metal, nice touch. I don't know why I just closed my eyes, but I did. Something I didn't really like about the build or maybe the design of the lens is the fact that when you're focusing, there is a little bit of barrel extension. And it's not much. It's not really something to be super upset about. It's just kind of like a pet peeve. So with that being said, that brings me to my overall thoughts / the value of this lens. I'll work on this. This is an ever evolving kind of, things change. Things change. You can probably guess what my overall thoughts on this lens is going to be simply from the fact that this got bumped up in the topics I was going to talk about on my channel. For $120, this lens produces a really good image. It has that 1.4, so if you're looking for a good low light lens for not a ton of money, this is a good option. Now you will be a little bit more telephoto with that 55mm, especially if you're using it on micro four thirds. I mentioned it was an 85mm equivalent before, but that's if it's on aps-c. If you're on micro four thirds, this is actually a 110. And so you're definitely gonna be a little bit more telephoto at this point. So would I recommend this lens? Absolutely. If you're a filmmaker or videographer on a budget, you need something that's a little more telephoto, definitely check this out. It's a great option. Again, great build quality, great image. You may have some of those quirks here and there, but again, for $120, you kind of have to understand you're gonna have some quirks. And so it's just a matter of if those quirks are a deal breaker for you. So again, if you're a budget filmmaker, budget videographer, or if you're a new filmmaker, videographer, and you need a short telephoto option that can handle low light, this is absolutely one lens that I would recommend. So that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to thank 7artisans for sending me this lens. If you want to purchase this lens, affiliate links are below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like. And if you're digging the overall content from the channel, consider subscribing. Remember, if you would like to make a short film for the SD Single Space Challenge, I'm going to put a link to that video up here in the corner. Check out those rules and submit your entry to be featured on my channel. I do have an entry, so stay tuned to the end and we're going to talk about it just a little bit. As always, thank you for joining. Go and find your journey. Go embrace life. Stay safe. Be happy. Wash those hands, and I'll see you here next time. Peace. So we do have an entry into the SD Single Space Challenge. My entry today, and I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna butcher your name, is from Abinadan Ghosh. This entry was really awesome. I watched this entry a few times, and each time it blows my mind this is all in the same space. So kick back and relax and enjoy Abinadan's entry into the SD Single Space Challenge. Roll it. So thank you again for sharing your entry. I enjoyed the positive vibe of the video, the overall sound design, and just getting immersed in those details of everything that was going on. Just really good video, so thank you again for sharing. All right, so I've had a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit sitting back here behind me for about the last hour. Smells amazing. Also have my coffee back here, so I'm gonna go and eat my breakfast. You guys be safe. Peace.